Mahito is definitely one of the strongest characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, and he's one of the most durable too, because the main way to be able to kill him is to hit his soul, which not all characters can do. But there are other ways to damage him outside of his soul, so let's talk about those. Yuji Itadori can damage Mahito because he can perceive the soul. Yuji had Sukuna inside of his body, so he gained an understanding of the soul, so he could see where to hit Mahito and it would do lasting damage. The same thing obviously applies to Sukuna because Sukuna also has experience in being an incarnated sorcerer and spending time in Yuji's body. But what about Gojo? Gojo could undoubtedly beat Mahito, but how? Gojo's never been a soul inside of another person's body, but because he has the six eyes, he can perceive the soul on a level that normal human eyes can't. The same thing applies to Toji Fushiguro and Maki Zenin. With their maxed out heavenly restriction, their eyes and their senses can perceive things that are beyond the normal human understanding, which means the soul. So yeah, Toji and Maki could damage Mahito. But what about someone like Yuta? Yuta is an incredibly strong sorcerer. He could undoubtedly beat Mahito, but he doesn't have the six eyes, he doesn't have heavenly restriction, and he's never been an incarnated sorcerer. So how could he do it? He could just outlast Mahito. Mahito, like everything else in Jujutsu Kaisen, has a limit on cursed energy, and Yuta definitely has more. So as long as Yuta can just outlast Mahito's own idol transfiguration, Yuta can win. This brings me into the fact why Uro and Ryu Ishiguri could also damage Mahito, and it's for two reasons. For one, they are also incarnated sorcerers just like Sukuna, so they have spent time as a soul in another person's body, therefore they should be able to perceive the soul. Furthermore, they're also incredibly experienced sorcerers, so they could just outlast Mahito the same way Yuta could. This also applies to Kashimo, who's one of the strongest incarnated sorcerers we've ever seen. He could absolutely beat Mahito. However, the only issue with that is that if Mahito does land a successful blow on Kashimo, Uro, Ryu, or Yuta, and he activates Idol Transfiguration, it's gonna work, and it's going to permanently damage them. So as long as they can just not get touched by Mahito, they could win. Which I think all of those sorcerers are beyond capable of doing that. This brings me into Jogo. Jogo is not an incarnated sorcerer. He's not incredibly experienced like Yuta, and he is just a cursed spirit. So why could he beat Mahito? Because I definitely believe he could. Because he could destroy all of Mahito at once. Mahito can't transfigure something that's not there. So with Jogo's lava and his meteor and his domain, he could just completely decimate every single part of Mahito all at once, exercising him. That's why Jogo beats Mahito. But Mahito would beat more sorcerers than Jogo would.